Welcome to This Podcast is Making Me Thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This is Two Up and Two Down. Here's our producer, Chris, to start us off.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Today we got a great Season 4 episode, The Shoes. And to start things off, we're going over to Chris. What is your first up?
The Shoes, a Season 4 classic, as we all know, the first episode of Thursday night. So 27 million people tuned in after Cheers. For me, it's friend of the show, Gina Hecht, her best friend in real life, Jason Alexander. The scene at the psychiatrist's office when George is asking her what she thought of the pilot, and she obviously gave that feedback he did not like. And, he goes on to say, well, we pitched it to Russell Dalrymple, the president of NBC, as if she knows who that is. And he ate it up with a spoon. I mean, I love that line. And then, obviously, he just takes it to another level in this kind of 60 to 90-second rant. You stink, and that diploma is my idea of comedy. I mean, that's quintessential Costanza. Obviously, he doesn't take criticism well. So first one up is that scene with him and Dana Foley.
Yeah, great scene. So great up there. Tony, over to you. What's your first up?
My first up in a really, really strong episode. This episode has everything. Great tempo. I love the tempo of this episode. I think every scene really hits. It flows great. It's everything we love about Seinfeld. My first up is Jerry and George on the couch writing the pilot. I love all of these scenes. There's a lot of them in season 4 as they kind of start to write the pilot. The rolling writer, like the pen, the one where they're sleeping. I say hello, you say hi. Anyway, this one delivers as well. They tried to write for a Elaine character. What do women say? They don't know what to write. George, I don't know what they're thinking. That's why I'm in therapy. Just a great back and forth there. We don't know trying to write for Elaine. It probably gives you a glimpse into what it was like for Jerry and Larry back then writing the actual pilot. They didn't really have an Elaine character for that first, pilot episode. Probably the reason why. Gives you that insight. Just two guys like, wow, what is Elaine going to say? Like, what do women say? Love that scene. Love the two of them on the couch about to start writing the pilot. Here we go. We got the green light. Now what? Love that scene. That's my up.
Thank you, Tony. Back to you, Chris. What's your second up?
Yeah, a ton of ups in this episode. For me, it's hard to ignore this one. It's, when you think of the Shoes, you think of the scenes, the Russell scenes at Russell's apartment. 15, that's a fun age. Just the little banter, George talking about the restaurant, the whole thing. And then obviously Denise Richards walking into the room and the whole, Jerry giving the poke. And obviously Russell coming down after throwing up in the bathroom that whole time, which is remarkable as well, which was a true story, right? Happened with Bill Masters, another friend of the show. But get a good look, Costanza. What a way to close out a scene as memorable as you would get. Again, two knuckleheads sitting on a president's couch doing, what kids would do. So that's, again, epitomizing what the show's all about. So the Russell scenes at the apartment, for me, second one up.
Yeah, absolutely. Love Bob Balaban. Tony, back to you. What do you got for your second up?
Yeah, Chris hit it out of the park on that one. I mean, this and my second up piggybacks off that, and this is why this episode is so good, because it's what we love about Seinfeld. Now they're back talking about it with Elaine. And it was cleavage in the world with Jerry, and Paul cleavage is you don't look at cleavage, you look at the sun. You get a sense of it. I mean, Jerry delivers in this episode. I wrote it down. This is a top Jerry. This is just at the beginning with the snub when he's talking about Kramer. Look at this guy. I love this guy. I did a snub for me. I mean, that's the Jerry we love with that voice when he starts to get up there with the voice. Just the cleavage in the area line. George, he poked me. Well, you always pick with a poke. I mean, everything about that conversation is amazing. I'll grab this one too. We're waiting for an Oscar here. I mean, just incredible stuff. The coming back after that scene and now kind of going. So who wouldn't look at it? Who wouldn't look at it? Love that scene. Epitomizes everything we love about Seinfeld, as does the scene prior. which leads us to, obviously, we're going to get the grades in a second, but great scene with, pole cleavage. That's my up.
Yeah, great scene. I noted that as an up too, so I'm glad that you mentioned that. So we're going to go to downs. Chris, what's your first down, if you got any for this one?
Yeah, that's a tough part of this job. You got to find some downs. But, for me in the shoes, my first down is George saying he's snubbed for a year. Obviously, when Kramer came in and talked about the snub, the scene we talked about and loved, like, George, he's snubbing women for a year? I don't know. And this is pathetic, George, right? We're still season 4. Obviously, he's doing the pilot now, trying to write for it, but no way is he snubbing anybody for a year. So it was kind of just a throw in that in this, and this episode flows so well. It just didn't really need that line. So sometimes a little bit of overwriting that wasn't necessary. So that one snubbing line with George could do without.
All right, yeah, I got you on that one. So, Tony, what's your first down?
Yeah, my first down, I don't know if America's going to like it. I think maybe there are a few people out there that might agree with me. I don't know if my co-host does. But I think, making Dalrymple's daughter 15, a little bit of a stretch there. Never really sat that well with me. I mean, at the time, I may have overlooked it, but you kind of give a double take there. These two guys looking at a 15-year-old. I know Jerry's line, which brings it all together and lets it kind of settle a little easier with, you don't think of age in the face of cleavage. And obviously Denise Richards is not 15 years old. We all know that. So that's also a plus there. I'm not going to knock him too hard because we do have a grown woman doing the scene. But the fact that they make her 15, I feel like they could have done anything there. They could have just not said her age. They could have just had her come in, maybe she's from college. I don't know. I think it still lands. They're still looking at the daughter's cleavage. The joke's still there. Do we need the 15-year-old there? I think they kind of I don't know what the thinking was there. Maybe it was just we wanted a number that would kind of be on the line, and they found it, I guess. To me, it's a bit over. I would have liked them to either not say an age or maybe make her just a tad older, and it could have just made the joke the same, and everything would have been just fine. But I'm going to nitpick there a little bit with the 15-year-old daughter. That's my down.
All right, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I think bumping up the age to 18 or something like that, like you said, the joke would still land. So, all right, Chris, over to you. What's your second down?
Yeah, it's valid. And now being a father of daughters, I hear you, man. Second down, I got to go with Kramer actually dating Gail. He pulled this in the Bubble Boy earlier in the season with our, the Elmer Fudd, our pal Jessica Lundy, where I don't, more of a flirtatious thing, but, he was right at the cusp. And now he snubs Gail and just all of a sudden starts dating her? I don't know, man. After Jerry gave that incredible speech about loyalty, a little disappointing, Kramer. Now, I didn't think Kramer had a bad episode. I'm not going there, but I think him... stealing, not stealing, but he went out, Jerry went out with her 3 times. To me, that's, you shouldn't have touched that. That was out of bounds in my perspective. So Kramer dating Gail again, or not again, but dating Gail after Jerry is my down.
Tony, what's your second down here?
Yeah, I agree with that one. A little out of bounds there, especially to your point. I mean, Jerry just praised on how great he was with the snub. So I can see that one. My second down's a weak down. I'm going to give it because I got it written down and we're nitpicking here on a great episode. I don't even know really what I'm saying here, but I just don't like. I think it's just the ending of Elaine kind of now, like she's got the upper hand on George and Jerry. She proved she could put, asses in the seats with the catch-up seeker, which we didn't even give as an up, which was a great Elaine performance, by the way. But yeah, she kind of comes in, how about the Elaine character comes in here and she takes the script out at the end there when they're eating dinner. I like the Bouillon Bay's line. I don't love the, Elaine. It's a tad sitcom-y, if you will. It's about as much as I can give a negative. It's a very, very light down, if you will. But Elaine kind of pulling out the script and just being like, well, let's see where we can put Elaine in. I don't know why. I just, as I'm rewatching the episode, looking for downs, that kind of stuck out to me, and it's at the end of the episode. So if we're going that far in before we find something, the grades are going to be pretty good. So that's my down.
All right. Well, yeah, just like you said, if you got to nitpick that much, it's got to be a pretty good episode. So, in my opinion, I certainly think it is. So let's go with the grades. Chris, what's your grade here?
Yeah, the shoes, I mentioned it. This kicked off Thursday night. I think it was a perfect episode to kick off on Thursday night. I mean, it was a clean episode. Everything was flowing. In my opinion, all four characters were really strong. Elaine, you might even mentioned the whole Botticelli's and her anger and kind of that competition with Anita Barone, who was excellent as well, right? She didn't stand out too much, but Anita was just perfect. And we mentioned Bob Balaban as Russell. I mean, those were just it wasn't too much, right? Two strong guest stars. Gail Cunningham, what a name. We'll always remember it. We didn't even touch on Russell with Field Division, and then, George Pasta Primavera back on the horse. Like, so much there. Every scene just packed a punch that the shoes is an A, in my opinion. Not an A plus, not an A minus, but boy, I mentioned just like a clean episode, a clean A for the shoes.
A great score there. So Tony, over to you.
Love the shoes. Love the shoes. We'll start in there. I think O'Hara hit on every single point. I think this is a top Elaine episode between the catch-up secret, just that alone. The whole shoe stuff, she acted so great during the whole shoe stuff. What was the lady care about my shoes? She's talking about my shoes. I think it's a top George episode, the Gina Hexine alone. I mean, this is a classic George episode. We can watch that George scene 100 times over, laugh hysterically every single time. That's my idea, comedy. O'Hara brought that up already. Jerry, an amazing Jerry episode, right? We got, Jerry Cleveland's in there. I mean, amazing Jerry. I think Kramer falls a tad short. I don't think we get enough out of the K-Man. He's kind of just a buffer there. He's bringing together, brokering the deal, goes after, his snub at the beginning was great. Then he kind of, to Chris's point, falls off when he takes Gail from Jerry and kind of just does that whole thing. I mean, it's a good Kramer, don't get me wrong. It's a good Kramer. It's not enough to make this an A for me. A minus for the shoes. I think it's fair. It's a very high A minus. We're talking 93, 94. On the cusp. I'm not arguing the A. I just think I'm going to give an A minus. I think K-Man doesn't give enough. But I mean, this is as good as a Seinfeld episode gets. There's definitely, in a top 50, if not higher for sure. The tempo's there. Every scene hits. Get a good look at Costanza. I mean, it's an A minus. I think that's a fair grade, and I'm okay with it. But that's my grade for the shoes.
All right. Well, there you have it. A minus. Again, we're talking season 4, so you don't expect anything less than that from these episodes. So thank you guys again, and we'll see everybody on the next one.